Are you ever staring at a can of cat food, reading the label, and thinking, what is this stuff? You see the mystery meat chunk floating in that weird, questionably colored gravy, and you just have to wonder, what if you could skip all that? What if you could serve your cat a meal that you know is fresh, wholesome, and perfectly balanced because you made it yourself? Well, that's what we're talking about today. We're going to cut through the noise of all the viral homemade cat food recipes out there and get to what's real, what's safe, and what's actually backed by science. I'm going to show you a foundational recipe and, more importantly, the principles behind it, so you can make a meal that will have your cat purring for more. And here's the best part. It's easier than you think. So if you're ready to completely transform your cat's dinner bowl, you're in the right place. The problem: why go homemade? So let's get right into the why. Why are so many people making the switch to homemade cat food? Let's be real, the commercial pet food aisle can be confusing. Many brands, even popular ones, use fillers like corn, wheat, and soy, plus artificial ingredients that don't offer much nutritional value. Cats are what we call obligate carnivores. That's just a scientific way of saying they are built to run on a diet of animal meat and protein, period. The high carbohydrate content in many commercial foods can contribute to common health issues in cats, like obesity and diabetes. When you make your cat's food, you control every single ingredient. You know the quality, you know it's fresh, and you know it's exactly what their bodies were designed to eat. But here's the big, crucial question. Is it safe? The internet is overflowing with DIY recipes, and it's hard to know who to trust. Making your own cat food can be incredibly beneficial, but only if you follow a properly balanced recipe that includes all the essential nutrients your cat needs. Doing it wrong can be far more dangerous than buying commercial food, and that's exactly why we're going to learn how to do it right. The solution: Feline Nutrition 101. Before we grab our aprons, it's essential to understand what makes a cat's diet so unique. This isn't just tiny person food. They have very specific needs. First, as we said, they need high levels of animal-based protein for strong muscles and a healthy body. Second, and this is completely non-negotiable, they need taurine. Taurine is an amino acid that cats can't make themselves in sufficient amounts. It is absolutely vital for their heart, vision, and overall health. A lack of taurine can lead to severe heart conditions and even blindness. While raw meat contains taurine, it's destroyed by heat, which is why we must add it back into any cooked recipe. Next, they need omega fatty acids for healthy skin and a shiny coat, and critically, a balanced calcium to phosphorus ratio for strong bones. Meat is naturally high in phosphorus, so we have to add a calcium source to get that ratio right. An imbalance here can lead to serious skeletal problems. It might sound complex, but don't let it scare you. The key is to use the right supplements to fill these nutritional gaps, turning a simple meat recipe into a complete meal. Raw versus cooked, a quick breakdown. You'll hear a lot about raw versus cooked diets, so let's quickly break it down. A raw food diet tries to mimic what a cat would eat in the wild. Fans of raw feeding often point to benefits like a shinier coat and better dental health. However, the main risk is bacterial contamination, like Salmonella or E. coli, which can be a danger to both your cat and the humans in your house if you're not extremely careful with food safety. Cooked diets, which we're focusing on today, eliminate most of that bacterial risk, making them a safer and easier starting point for most people. While cooking does reduce some nutrients, like taurine, we can easily add them back in. It's a fantastic balance of safety, nutrition, and convenience. A foundational cooked cat food recipe. All right, let's get to it. Think of this as a base recipe that gets the principles right. This will make about a week's worth of food for an average 10-pound cat. Here's what you'll need. 1 pound of ground chicken or turkey thigh. Thigh meat is great because its higher fat content is tastier for cats. 1 large egg for extra protein and nutrients. 1,000 milligrams of omega-3 fish oil for that gorgeous, shiny coat. A balanced supplement premix for homemade cat food. This is the secret weapon. A product like Al-Nutrin or Balance IT is formulated by nutritionists to provide the perfect blend of vitamins and minerals to make the food complete and is the safest way to meet AAFCO guidelines. A generic multivitamin is not a substitute. Or, if a premix isn't available, you'll need 1/2 teaspoon, about 3 grams of finely ground eggshell powder. This is for calcium. You must use a food scale for accuracy. 500 to 1,000 milligrams of taurine powder. This is absolutely essential for cooked food. Now let's put it all together. 1. First, if you're using eggshell for calcium, prepare it. Rinse the shell of your egg well, then bake it at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, 150 degrees Celsius, for 10 to 15 minutes until it's totally dry and brittle. Grind it into a superfine powder with a coffee grinder or mortar and pestle. 2. Next, gently cook your ground meat in a skillet over medium heat until it's just cooked through. No need to overdo it. 3. While the meat is still warm, crack the egg into the skillet and scramble it into the mixture. The heat from the meat will cook it perfectly. 4. Now for the most important step, turn off the heat and let the mixture cool down completely. Adding supplements to hot food can destroy sensitive vitamins and oils. 5. Once it's cool, it's time to add your supplements. If you're using a premix, add the amount directed on the package. If not, sprinkle in your precisely weighed eggshell powder, the taurine powder, and the fish oil. 6. Mix everything together until it's perfectly combined. You can add a splash of water or unsalted bone broth to get a nice pâté consistency that your cat might prefer. And there you have it, a fresh batch of nutritionally sound, homemade cat food. By the way, if you're finding this useful, would you do me a favor and hit that like button? It's a small thing, but it really helps the channel out and lets me know you want more content like this. Thanks, storage, portioning, and affordability. So what do you do with this beautiful food? You can store it in the fridge in an airtight container for up to 3 days. I highly recommend freezing the rest. Using silicone molds or ice cube trays is a great trick for creating perfect single-serving portions that you can thaw out as needed. A healthy, active 10-pound cat generally needs about 200 to 250 calories per day. You'll need to do a little math to figure out the calories in your specific batch of food, but it's the most accurate way to keep your cat at a healthy weight. Split the daily amount into 2 meals. And what about the cost? Honestly, it can be very affordable, sometimes even cheaper than premium commercial brands, especially if you buy meat in bulk or on sale. Just remember to factor in the cost of the essential supplements. That's a non-negotiable part of the budget. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. When you start this journey, there are a few common pitfalls to watch out for. The number 1 mistake is not balancing the diet. I'm going to say it again, meat alone is not enough. Skipping the calcium and taurine supplements can lead to devastating health problems. Always follow a science-backed, balanced recipe to the letter. Another huge mistake is adding toxic ingredients. Things like onions, garlic, chocolate, or grapes are poisonous to cats and have no place in their food. Stick to the recipe. Finally, practice good food safety. Wash your hands and all your tools after handling raw meat and store the finished food properly to keep it fresh and safe. Your top questions answered. Let's tackle a few common questions. Can my kitten eat this? Kittens have very different needs for growth and energy. While they can eat this food, you should absolutely consult with your vet to create a specific dietary plan for a growing kitten. Don't guess. How do I switch my super picky cat? Slowly. Cats are creatures of habit. Start by mixing just a tiny spoonful, like 10% of the new food, with their old food. Over a week or two, gradually increase the new and decrease the old. Be patient. Conclusion. Making the switch to homemade food is genuinely one of the most rewarding things you can do for your cat. Start simple, trust the science, and enjoy the incredible bond that comes from making your cat's meals from scratch. Let me know in the comments how it goes, or if you have any questions. For your convenience, I've put links in the description to some of the supplement premixes I mentioned. They really are the gold standard for making this process safe and simple. You'll also find my free mini cookbook with this foundational recipe laid out for you. And finally, if you want more vet-approved tips to help your pet thrive, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. Join our community of pet lovers who are making a difference, one homemade bowl at a time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.